Hello, this is Joyce Chow for Ambiana News Video Web. We are sitting here with Michael Dean Shelton, who is actually, he works so closely with Operation Smile.
That's correct.
And we're getting ready for the Smile Gala. But Michael, what exactly is your role with Operation Smile? I know it's one of your favorite charities.
It is.
You support it every year.
Yeah, right now I'm just an advocate for them, which I'm very happy to do. Like I said, it's a great charity. There's a Charlie Chaplin quote that reminds me of Operation Smile, and that is a day without laughter is a day wasted. And that's what this charity does for children. I mean, these children that have cleft lips and other facial deformities, they go in and they help these children create a new smile, so they can have a childhood full of self-esteem, high self-esteem,
right,
and hope. And something fascinating that just came out. They've now helped 150,000 children in their 20 years. That came out in August of 2010. So think about that. Can you just imagine 150,000 smiles? It's pretty amazing. So yeah, I'm happy to advocate for them. This is my second year with their Smile Gala, and this year it's pretty big. We're honoring Harrison Ford, and John Stamos, and Susan Kasdan. And then the cast of Glee is performing tonight to close out. That should be
pretty exciting. Yeah. Now, I'm just curious, there's so many different charities that you have the opportunity to work with, because I know you work with a lot of them. What makes Operation Smile so dear to your heart?
I think a couple things. I mean, first and foremost, children. I mean, I advocate for a lot of children's charities, and you can't get any better than giving a child a new smile. And they also work really hard. I mean, they're financially sound, which is something that I look for. And their staff is so excited about the work that they do. And I think that that's a very key component to supporting a nonprofit. If the staff isn't excited about it, if they're not actively involved, then why should I tell my fans, or why should I get involved? And when I first met with Operation Smile, met with the owners that created Operation Smile, you can just see it in their faces, and I think that that's an amazing, that makes an amazing charity. So that's why I've been involved with them.
One of the things I've always personally been really impressed with Operation Smile is there's so many really good charities out there. But for example, if you're donating to help with cancer and the Heart Association and the Kidney Association, I mean, those are all, granted, they were all very, very good. But part of it is when you think about somebody's smile, right, and the difference it makes. I mean, think about you. Like if you had a permanent frown on your face, and that's not even as bad as a cleft lip, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your life would be so different. And I was always impressed that it takes so little to make such a difference in a child's life.
No, most definitely. And, just the surgery alone, I don't think people realize this, especially as we're coming up to the holidays. To give a child a new smile, to fix it, costs only $245.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, so you could start with a cleft lip and then $245, and they can have pretty much a normal smile.
A normal smile, and and the surgery is less than an hour, and so and it's amazing. I mean, we just don't give it much thought, but once again, just think about that child smiling and playing with his friends or her friends, and so that's why, especially as we're coming up to the holidays, I really encourage people to consider adopting a child, adopting a smile, and giving it to a child. And that's what I also love about Operation Smile, is that it's a worldwide charity. So they just don't focus on kids here. They focus on kids in needs in developing countries like Vietnam and Philippines and that sort of place. So
Now, one of the things you mentioned is helping children. Do they only work with children in helping the smiles?
That's correct. They only help with children. From everything I know, that's correct. They've only done so. But it's a good start with that, though.
Oh, it really is. Well, you start early, and you can really make a difference
in
their entire life.
No, exactly. Because think about. Especially if you think back to elementary school and stuff. When we were in elementary school, we're just developing as children, and think about the self-esteem that they must have if they feel like they're ashamed of their faces because they're different. And so it's
here's one thing that most people can relate to is you have a pimple on your face.
Exactly.
Okay, and when you have a pimple on your face, how many of you want to go run and hide? I mean,
exactly.
That's just a pimple.
That's just a pimple. That's right, and you can't.
Or you have a cold sore, right?
Exactly, and you can't hide from this fact.
It doesn't go away like that.
Exactly, but it can go away, by
Well, what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Like in 45 minutes, we can give that child a chance to, have hope, And so, and there's some interesting things too in the fact that, Operation Smile has now become very widely known for
Right.
it. And I've heard stories where people actually travel and for days, coming from the countrysides of like Vietnam and stuff,
Right.
to get to the centers where they're working on children on these missions. Because, it's so important to those families that, that they normally couldn't afford it because all these services are donated. So, they'll travel for 2 days.
So, what do? They set up in a community and then they tell everybody and then they just come in?
Yeah, I believe that's how it happens. That's correct. They set up like little camps and
We're testing Michael's knowledge.
just a little. That's right. But they set up camps, and doctors fly in,
Right.
and they have a team of volunteers, and so and they call them mission trips, and so.
Oh, that is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, and and it's also great. I think whenever tragedies arise too, Operation Smile was really vital in getting some of the medical supplies and stuff to like Haiti, for example. And that's why we're honoring Harrison Ford. He donated the use of his plane and he flew it not once, but twice over the course of a weekend.
And he is an avid pilot.
Yeah, exactly. To think that he donated his time for that.
Yeah, instead of just, here's a check. That's
Exactly.
a really big deal.
Exactly, and I think that's another thing that I love about Operation Smile and what I encourage people to do, especially those of us that have a little bit of fame or a lot of fame. They encourage, and most of the people that the Operation Smile has as their Smile ambassador, celebrity-wise, they're actively involved. They take the mission trips. You see us volunteering. And I think that's very important because that sets an example. So
it really does. And see, part of it is there's a lot of you that are thinking, well, how can I help? Of course, you can donate money, but there's other ways. Like Michael's mentioned, Harrison Ford flew his airplane.
Exactly.
And they probably need supplies and doctors and volunteers and a whole assortment of people.
Exactly. And there's a lot of different ways you can help. One thing I've been encouraging my fans to do is you can also sign my guest book. And let us know what you think about Operation Smile, which is, because I think that feedback is very important. So if people go, you can either go to operationsmile.org or go to my personal page where there's a message. It's called operationsmile.org/Michael Dean. And you can write comments on my page, and then you can also donate. And what's interesting and what I've been encouraging people to do is give up a cup of coffee, for example. And $5 is the lowest amount you can donate. But that $5, I guarantee you, will go pretty far with Operation Smile. So
yeah, that makes a really big difference. And I know a lot of people, especially during the holidays, they're sitting there thinking, it's like, well, actually everybody's thinking, I wish I had more, or how my kids already have enough, and how, right?
No, exactly.
And how can we help? Because I've seen families where they, like you mentioned, adopt a child, where they would adopt a child, and then the whole family gets involved around that present, and they talk about what it is and what a difference it makes, and it's part of it is it's one of those charities that really can enrich your life, especially if you become more actively involved instead of, of course they appreciate checks instead of just making a donation.
Exactly. Absolutely. But I think it's important, especially with the holiday season coming up, and given the state of the economy worldwide, how important that money is, though, and also in donating. Because, especially here in the U.S., we've been given more blessings, I think, for a lot of us. And no matter how bad it seems, for each of us right now, there's always somebody worse off. And, unfortunately, and that's the way it goes. And so I would really encourage people to consider donating this season instead of giving gifts.
And do what they can. If you can help bring a child an entire smile,
exactly.
or if you can just help a portion, everything counts.
No, exactly. And think, as I've been telling people, $245, that is 50 days of giving up a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
Is that what, you already calculated?
Yeah, exactly, because it's about $5, for a coffee drink. And now that they're raising their prices, so maybe a little less. But that's 50 days. You could do it. That's, a month and a half. And so,
okay, and here's my solution. If you still have your gym membership, it's like put your gym membership on vacation, right? Pay the reduced rate.
No, exactly.
Because how often are you going to the gym anyway during that time?
Exactly. No, absolutely. Yeah, November and December are out for the gym, at least for me. I eat so much. And so yeah, put that gym membership on hold and donate that money. Because I think, I belong to Equinox, and that's $160 a month. And so, putting that thing on hold for 2 months.
Because you're not going much anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah.
So.
And one of the other things I'm curious about, you mentioned adopt a child. Can you, with Operation Smile, can you you know, like you get a picture of a child and you basically adopt a child and you see the progression? Can you do that?
I don't believe that you can, just for the simple fact that they never know which kids they're going to be
Right.
able to
I mean,
help.
that's a lot of
Right.
Additional administrative.
Right, exactly, and and I think that also that's a lot of added cost, and so
That's
you
what
want
I
to make
mean.
sure your donation goes pretty far. But you can always watch the progress. Operation Smile is very involved in their donors. If you write an email, call them, they respond back to you. So if you want to see where your money went, they'll be able to tell you. So
Oh, that's really cool.
yeah, and like I said, just remember the children this season. So yeah.
Oh, actually, that's a really good idea. So, of course, always check it out by going to their
Op-
website.
Yeah, it's operationsmile.org, and that's OPERATIONSMILE.org. So,
Thank you, Michael.
thank you very much.
Smile.
That's right. Let's we'll smile together.